How much trust do you have in opinion polls?
The design of the poll is a big factor. what push poll, what questions are asked first and which questions are asked second, it can make a huge difference. Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, I'm a little hesitant because I feel like it just depends on who's answering them. Because I feel like it might be biased, like for people who have stronger opinions over people who like just might not be as vocal. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and like you never really know who actually is answering the polls and if the people behind the polls are influencing what group gets targeted for answering to get the results that they want. So there's no way to control the skew.
I think like anything, you look at the sources, look at the reliability, look at the data, and historically look at, go back and don't take just that poll, look at the work they've done previously. Yeah. So generally, yes.
I guess it depends on who's doing the polls and what it's about.
I don't really, actually. I think people are embarrassed to be honest. And I think when people are... I think people often say what they think they should say, but in the privacy of their lives, they hold a different opinion. Again, that's just my opinion, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's always going to be, the results are always going to be indicative of the people that are like going to those types of polls, right? It's always going to be a certain type of person that's going to be willing to answer them.
And
so,
who's asking.
yeah.
How the questions are phrased, right? Yeah.
I don't, because I think it's a small amount of people that respond to them. So it's really just the select group of people that saw the poll or were called or something like that. It's not a broad enough perspective of the community at large.
I think there's a lot of bias in opinion polls, especially because like people who give their opinion usually have like a really one side or the other. So I don't think you really get the full spectrum when you do that.
I take it with a grain of salt, but I still do like to, look at them, if that makes sense.
Yes, I trust opinion polls. Yeah, I trust what people in my community say. Yes.
I think they've proven to be pretty spotty. I think it depends a little bit on who's actually paying for them and how they're used. So I'd say moderately trustful, but I think there's a healthy skepticism's actually required.
Not a lot, especially if it's from a single source and looking at a very specific demographic or region. However, broader opinion polls, I tend to take more into account. They're questionable at times, usually from better, I guess, well-developed research studies. I tend to trust them more than just, say, a tabloid opinion piece kind of thing.
Depends who does them. I'm pretty careful about any media that I consume. So
people answering it might have stronger opinions than others, and it's like I don't think that's always a good snapshot of the whole opinion across the country, because it's just like based on who answers it and who has access to answer it, I guess.
I think that opinion polls are filled out by people who are either seeking opinion polls or are in places where they're it's being thrust upon them. So people who spend a lot of time on the internet, people who are part of a certain political parties that may be sending out opinion polls and are getting those email blasts and things like that. I think that those are the kinds of people that fill these things out. People who are just, they don't really pay much attention to the political landscape, or they actively don't want to participate, are not going to be part of those polls. So I think that it biases things many of the time.
No. I don't trust that those are real data at all.
See, I trust that they're real. This is where we differ.
Yeah, I would rather actually...
You think it's a rigged statistic?
I would actually rather just pull up a chair and ask people in general. I'm more of a...
That's what opinion poll does, but
yeah,
you have to trust the person giving you the result.
You gotta trust the source. I don't really trust the internet for a whole lot of things.
It depends on if I trust the people that are doing the opinion poll, right? A lot of the agencies tend to be influenced by the government, and they'll give them the answer that they want to hear.
You know what, I honestly can't, I guess I don't necessarily trust them a whole lot, because I feel people are maybe afraid at times to express their opinion because of the cancel culture that's prevalent nowadays. Like if you go against the main, what people think is our mainstream ideas, I kind of think maybe they're not.
but it's nice to have them. It doesn't mean they answer all the questions, but it's a good way to sort of assess public opinion and get a feel for the country, even if it's not every single person. But people we're similar. We have similar thoughts, and we tend to lean to one side or the other of the spectrum in terms of yes or no, right? If you think about it, so